really say anything influenced me. Basically the fact that I had to. It wasn't ever an option for the girls in my family. Like, it wasn't an option. It's not like, are you going to start wearing it? Now you're puberty, so are you going to start wearing it? No, we had to wear it. I had worn it on and off so much when I was younger that it was normal for me. And all of my friends wore hijabs. Back then, it wasn't really about to wear or not to wear the hijab. It wasn't a question about whether you were a hijabi or whether you were a non-hijabi. Yeah, so this new idea of to wear or not to wear the hijab, or everyone wore their hijab. It was that simple. And if you didn't, you were sneaking. You had to go to the mall and take your hijab off because you were in the mall trying to be cute. It wasn't ever like, you know, half of my friends didn't wear hijab and half of them wore hijab, and it was just like, oh, I'm a non-hijabi, and oh, I'm a hijabi. It wasn't that kind of thing. It wasn't that someone or something influenced me outside of the fact that I understood that it was something that I had to do as a Muslim lady. If I accepted Islam, wearing the hijab is a part of that for me. So, I mean, my mother was always in hijab. I observed her in hijab all the time. Never took it off. Never wavered. Nothing. Never compromised the way she dressed. Or, I guess to a certain extent, I could say that my mother influenced me because of the fact of her example. She was an awesome example of modesty, and she did not wear hijab, then it might have occurred to me not to wear it. She might have been an influence in me not wearing it. But since she wore it, I would have to say that probably if there is a person, it would be my mother. Overall, it requires you to develop courage and strength, and people are driven by looks. People are driven by outward examples of beauty, and when you are hijabi, you don't have all of those things to fall back on. You have to put in the work to get wherever you want to be, and you have to do it honestly. You have to do it in a way that, you know, your effort, your skill, your talent, your intelligence, all of those things have to be exercised when you are a hijabi. Courage, strength, beauty, modesty. Usually I just ignore them. As long as no one's in my space, then I ignore them. There's no point in responding to an ignorant person, because an ignorant person is going to respond to you ignorantly. It usually escalates. I've seen other, you know, religions and cultures that wear different things. So I understand the curiosity in seeing something different, seeing something that you've never seen before or that you don't understand. So I don't really mind when people stare. It depends on how long or in what way they're staring. And sometimes I'll just ask them, did you have a question? And they'll get confused and be like, oh, and you know, oh no, I don't have a question. For the most part, I ignore stares too. I don't really pay attention. I think some people are hypersensitive and they're always looking for, you know, looking for a way to be victimized. I know that Muslims do have a lot of negative attention, but I think sometimes it's over exaggerated. You know, like if somebody's staring, who cares? They're staring. You know, people stare all the time. Handicapped people stare. If someone has a scar across the side of their face, people will stare. So people staring at me because I have on a hijab is like, it doesn't really bother me, basically. Ooh, I would have to say pins out of necessity and headbands, because I just love headbands. As long as you pay attention to modesty and you're covering those parts that have to be covered, which is basically everything except for the tip of your nose. Be yourself. Find yourself in hijab. Whatever you were before you became Muslim or before you started covering, find a way to still be that while being covered. Find your voice, find your personality, and express that in hijab. Basically, do what is in your heart to do. Don't do what someone else wants you to do, or what you think others expect you to do. Whatever level that you're at, that is the level Allah knows that you're on. So it doesn't matter. Like, don't try to please other people. And I feel like it's better to take baby steps to improve on something than it is to jump into it too deep and then pull back, because it's going to make you feel like a failure. It's going to make you feel like you're a bad person or you're not a good enough Muslim. I think it's better to make steps towards getting to a higher level than it is to start out at a high level and go downhill, if that makes sense. I don't understand it. I think it's really, really good. You know, Muslim women are doing a lot more than they were doing when I was younger. And people seeing that Muslim women are regular, and girls having role models, I think it's opened up our minds and eyes to seeing that there's more out there, that there's a possibility for women to be all types of things. Why do I dress the way I dress? Why do I wear a scarf? Those are all the questions. Thank you, Naomi Syke, for the tag. Take a moment to subscribe, like, and comment. Share if you want. That is it. Until next time, Assalamu alaikum.